beautiful people, it's Felicia here, and I am back with another video. I know it's been a very long time since the last time you guys saw me. I think it's been about 5 months. I have been just really trying to handle my business and get my business going. If many of you don't know, I do own a lash business, and I'm just trying to do different stuff with that. So that's where I've been, that's what I've been doing. But I'm here today with something quick, something that I feel like is so relevant right now, because a lot of us want to travel but don't really want to pay too much to travel. And I feel like this was so needed because a lot of us don't really know, and we just kind of exit Spirit Airlines out for travel. And I think this would be a helpful video because I watched a lot of YouTube videos about Spirit Airlines before I decided to fly, and they were kind of old. And now I just want to give you an update because, honey, Spirit is cool. Like, I just don't understand, Let's just get into the video. Okay, so I'll try to make this brief because nobody wants to watch a long video when they just want to know a couple pieces of information, right? So here you go. I have been frequently flying, and before now I was like, I'm not never getting on no Spirit flight. Like, you just think of Spirit as like public transportation, and nothing against it, but you don't know, you're ignorant to it, and you feel kind of a little bougie towards it. So long story short, I decided to fly Spirit because it was a last minute trip and I needed to like pay for something cheap because I didn't want to fly last minute for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, or I would have just stayed home, right? So anyway, a lot of people don't like Spirit because of all the fees. So let's just get into that. So Spirit flights are usually pretty cheap. They're considered an Airbus, right? So you can find round trip tickets for $40, $100, and things like that. The range is very different depending on where you're going. So the fees, you pay for your ticket, right? So once you pay for your ticket, everything else is optional. And I think people don't understand that. Everything is optional. So if you check a bag or have a carry-on, you do have to pay for those things. And from my experience, they have been between $38 to $50, $51. Interestingly, they're only about $2 to $3 different. And then if you try to pay for it that same day, it goes up to about $65. So there are rules within that. Your check bag can only be 40 pounds, I believe, for your first bag. And then after that, a lot of other things happen. Your carry-on, they have rules for that as well, but they weren't really checking. So you can also get a free, so you have a free personal item, and your personal item has to be between 18 by 14 by 8 bag. And you think about that and you're like, that's small, but it's actually not. So if you get a ruler and just measure 18 by 14 by 8, it's big enough for you to get your stuff in there and get to where you need to go if it's not longer than a couple days. Now, I have watched some videos where people pack for 7 days, 10 days in something that small, but somebody like me who's overpacks, this was a challenge because I don't care if I'm going somewhere for 2 days, I always overpack. But in reality, can you make it with that size bag? Absolutely. So other than that, you have those bag fees if you choose to pay for them. Your seat is assigned to you at the gate for free. So if you choose to pick your seat, then you will have to pay. The seats were like $15, $11. Emergency seat was about $33, and then the front seat that has one inch bigger than the emergency seat was like $65. So if you choose a seat, yes, you will pay. If you don't choose to choose a seat, you won't have to pay. So there you go. You have your bag and your seat already for free if you don't choose to pick one. Then after that, there's nothing else to pay for. There's nothing else to pay for. They do not serve complimentary water and things like that, but they do have options to pay for it. Now, listen. Water, $5. Regular size bag M&Ms, $4. A cup of noodles is $4. So they have options for you to choose from, so you don't absolutely have to starve. But it's optional. You don't have to pay for those things. Other than that, the other thing about Spirit, which would be considered a con, for lack of a better term, is ghetto. Meaning, like the in my experience, the flight attendants, they were so chill and so laid back, it was ridiculous. And also, you know, they make jokes about their airline. They talk about how they don't have first class. And I've been on there a couple times now, so it has been the same thing each time I've been on the flight. And each time I haven't ever experienced somebody that's just truly professional, how Delta and everybody else chooses to conduct themselves on their flights. And they just cool people usually. Each time all of my flight attendants were also black. And it was just a different kind of vibe. So here's the thing with Spirit. If you're going to fly Spirit, you have to go on there with the mindset that you're just trying to get to one destination, because Spirit is one of the top airlines for direct flights. So that's a big, big plus. If you don't have to keep getting on and off a Spirit flight, it makes it worth it, because you only have to be quote unquote uncomfortable for a little bit. Now, if you're going further, it may be not recommended, just because you want to feel more comfortable when your flight is longer, from food to seats to everything like that. Also, let's talk about that real fast, because I missed it. But the seats. So the seats, I fit comfortably. I'm only about 5'4", and I had a little leg room, and I'll show you. I have a clip of my leg room and stuff, and then I also got moved to an emergency seat, so I also have a clip of my leg room there. So it's not completely uncomfortable if you are a smaller person. A guy who was next to me, I would give him about 6 feet. His knees were definitely on the back of the chair, but it wasn't like he couldn't put them straight. Now, I think if you're over 6 feet, absolutely not. You need leg room, because you're going to have to sit with your legs cocked open around the seat versus in front of it, which will make you uncomfortable during this time, because you're going to have to touch the people next to you, depending on size. They also don't skip the middle seat, so it's somebody next to you each time. So let me show you the bag that I took. This is the bag that I took. It measures about 19 by 13 by about 9. So the side, the open, as wide as it goes, is about 9 inches. It's going straight across is about 19. If I fill it, stuff it, it can get to about 20. And then going up and down, it's about 13 to 14. And here's the thing. So I knew my bag wasn't going to quite fit, right? But I'm a risk taker. I go against the grain. I go against all the rules. I just, if you knew how much I've done as far as getting away with just parking in the red and stuff like that, I try my luck. So with Spirit Airlines, my thought was to just try my luck. So I took that bag as my personal item. Even though it's not too far from the dimensions, but once I filled it up, it was definitely not going to fit in their sizer. So I took it, and nothing happened. So that's my thing with this. It's like, there are rules to Spirit, but it's gonna be a trial and error, because if they are checking, which I know people have had experiences where they got caught. My brother even said he got caught. So they've had to pay the $65 up front. But there's also been experiences where they haven't got caught, and it just makes it worth it to keep trying, because the ticket is so cheap. So as of now, for me, I will continue to use the airline, and I will continue to try to get a bag close to the size that they recommend, but it may not be as small as they want. And I'm just going to keep trying my luck, because you can't beat $40 tickets. You can't beat $40 round trip tickets sometimes. So here's my final verdict with Spirit. If you have never flown Spirit, I say go and get your own opinion, just because your experience is going to be different than somebody else's, and the things that other people may care about, you may not care about. So if you just want a cheap flight, you're trying to get somewhere, you're in a relationship, you have friends across the states, whatever, and it's places you want to go frequently, I say give it a try, because you might come to find that, hey, I can see these people more often if I choose Spirit Airlines, because it's so freaking cheap. Like, to me, now I feel spoiled, because I feel like I can just go back and forth, because this darn this darn ticket is $100 usually, or $150, or anything round trip, or even less. It's like, when can I come again? Like, when am I coming? Because, it's so cheap. But other than that, I can't think of anything else that would be as helpful. Just to overview, so the thing is, tickets are cheap. There are fees for seats, and check bags and carry-ons, but they're all optional. There's an option to not pay for your seat by letting them choose it at the gate. There's an option for not having to pay for a bag by using the personal sized item. And the food options, if you need to, there are options for you to pay for, but to avoid that, just bring your own snacks, fill up your water at the airport, or buy a water at the airport, and then you're A-okay. There's options for you to have more space and comfortability with seats if you choose to upgrade your seat to a bigger seat. It's not necessarily nicer, but it's just a bigger space. And yeah, so y'all, go out there and travel on these Spirit Airlines, because you got to think about it. All these people have to go to pilot school. There's not like a pilot school for Spirit to make them less valuable as any other airline. They probably had classmates that are flying Delta and American and things like that, but this is just their route. When they're up there, it doesn't really matter. And so I think as far as things actually happening on the flight, it's still less as likely as any other airline, because they all had to go through the same training. So it's just things to think about. Don't cancel them out. Get your own opinion and just fly, okay? Have fun and go where you need to go. So I can't think if I've missed anything else, but if so, you can write in the comments and let me know if you've had any questions, or let me know if you've flown Spirit and your experience, and would you do it again, because right now I'm going to be back on Spirit Airlines, okay? All right, you guys, until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.